You are listening to RetroLovers Radio, your go-to broadcast for positive nostalgia.
What a wonderful night. You are listening to Retro Lovers Radio, a space for 80s and 90s music, memories, and for positive nostalgia. Why do some 90s songs feel like they are still speaking directly to your inner world? So let's step into the early to mid 1990s. It's late afternoon. You've just come back from school or work. The TV is on, but you're not really watching it. A CD is playing in the background. Maybe something you bought without knowing if you'd like the whole album. There's no social media, no constant updates. If something is bothering you, you mostly deal with it alone. And the music of the 90s understood that. The decade didn't always shout. Sometimes it simply sat quietly with you. Tonight we're talking about 90s songs that didn't try to define you. They reflected what you were already feeling. So let's begin with Ordinary World by Duran Duran from 1993. By the early 90s, many people felt that the optimism of the previous decade had faded. Life felt more complicated, more fragile. This song captured that transition perfectly. One lyric feels especially grounding. What has happened to it all? Not as a complaint, but as a reflection. It acknowledged loss without drama, and at the same time, it gently suggested that even when things change, you still have an inner world that remains yours. That's positive nostalgia through honesty. Now let's take the example of Torn by Natalie Imbruglia from 1997. This song wasn't aggressive, it wasn't theatrical, it was quietly exposed. One line stood out for many listeners. I'm already torn. It normalized emotional exhaustion. It told people, you don't have to be angry to be hurt. You can be tired and still be sincere. That emotional subtlety became a defining trait of the 90s. And now we can move to another example with Unbreak My Heart by Tony Braxton. Do you remember? From 1996. This song didn't rush pain. It stayed inside it. One lyric carried the universal plea. Unbreak my heart. Say you'll love me again. This was not pride, not control, just vulnerability. In the 90s, this kind of openness in mainstream music was powerful. It allowed people to admit they care deeply without apology. What these songs shared wasn't sadness, it was emotional presence. They didn't fix anything, they kept you company. And that's why 90s music still feels personal today. It didn't try to motivate you, it tried to understand you. So if you enjoy this kind of deep listening and reflection, make sure to join us live every week with the 90s Lover Show on Fridays and with the 80s Lover Show on Saturdays, both live at 7 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube and Kick channels. I first start the YouTube livestream for around 10 minutes, just to allow people some time to gather as a waiting room. And then we continue the full show livestream on Kick, where we can play full music video clips with no restrictions. It happened with YouTube. That's why I don't have the live stream on YouTube. And I share the link to Kick for you all to move there. On Kick is where things really come alive, with the 4 show segments, your song requests, live voting, your voice messages on air, and even phone calls to share memories, stories, and reflections connected to the music. You can participate or simply listen. And if you feel like participating, you can do it on Kick's chat or by leaving comments on the main post of our public Facebook group, which allows more space to write. And we all that surpasses the 40s, we all know we need it. We cannot write in 20 characters like in some chats or on Twitter on those spaces. So make sure to join our public group on Facebook by searching for RetroLovers Radio 80s and 90s Nostalgia. You're going to see our Facebook page and group. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and turn on the notification bell. And keep an eye on all the 6 extra monthly special shows as well. So tonight was about the quieter side of the 90s. Songs that didn't rush emotions. Lyrics that accepted complexity instead of simplifying it. Music that reminded us that feeling deeply was not a weakness. It was part of being alive. That's why these songs still stay with us. They don't scream nostalgia. They breathe it. So now let me know, is there a 90s song that stayed with you during a quiet or difficult period? A lyric that felt honest rather than dramatic? Share it in the comments, because those songs really matter. And before I go, remember to take care of your loved ones and remember what is truly important in your life. All the rest is secondary. Alright, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one. I'm Mick, and this was Retro Lovers Radio.